Morning, Steve Freeman in Chicago with the morning grain comments. Well, it's USDA report day, so at 11 o'clock we'll be out with the numbers and be a little bit smarter than we are now. There's not expected to be a lot of change in the numbers. I think the market's going to first look at the Brazil soybean crop number and see if they lower it. They're going to look at Chinese imports and see if they lower that, and then how all that affects the world matrix and world carryout numbers. For the most part, I think the market's looking for the possibility that U.S. carryouts might be increased a little bit. The USDA said they're not going to factor in a deal between U.S. and China in these numbers, and then we'll kind of leave the world numbers about unchanged from what they said in February. As we trade more in March, we'll be looking at weather. South American weather, Brazil looks okay. Some areas are getting a little bit too much rain, maybe slowing the harvest down. We have been noting that some of the roads that provide soybeans into the northern ports are untravelable, and so you're seeing less beans go to those ports, and they could run out of beans to load the boats soon. The forecast, though, calls for drier weather, and some people think that while that helped bean harvest, it could offer some stress to the corn crop. Argentina weather is fine. Here in the United States, we're actually going to warm up a little bit, but with that comes rains. So when you look at the 6 to 10 day outlook, the western half of the country is going to be colder than normal. The eastern half is going to be warmer, but the entire Midwest is going to be wetter than normal. And again, that could cause some logistic problems and delay early spring weather. We did note yesterday there were a lot of rumors floating around that China started coming in and buying parts of that 10 million tons of beans they promised they would buy under a new deal. Some people think they bought 2 million tons for this spring and summer out of the Gulf and 1 million tons for September out of the Pacific Northwest. Again, the market really didn't move that much until it probably actually sees the sales. And then you can make the point that if China takes 10 million tons from us, Brazil will offer 10 million tons to other origins, and it really doesn't change the global supply and demand that much. We did note that the wire services mentioned that U.S. ambassadors to China on Friday said neither side feels an agreement is imminent. A date hasn't been set for finalizing meeting between the two presidents, and we're seeing that the Chinese stock market reacted very violently and lowered to that. So we'll see if that ripples over into our markets. The other things, as far as the report is concerned, there's 3 possible reactions today and next week in USDA report. Number 1, you might see the funds cover their short positions, the old sell the rumor, buy the fact type thing. Number 2, the market could continue to slide lower without a trade deal with China and the talk that next year's world crops will be bigger than last year. Or number 3, we trade sideways, thinking that the potential of a deal might offset talk of bigger world crops and slower world economy in 2019. I think the machines probably will continue to try to sell this market because of the possibility of lower world economy and higher world crops, even if we get a trade deal between U.S. and China. Funds, open interest yesterday was up pretty dramatically. Funds adding to their short positions, so going into this report, going into the possible trade deal, and going into the uncertainty of whether in 2019 they're short 70,000 beans, 50,000 meal, 130,000 corn, and 77,000 to 80,000 Chicago wheat. As always, these are my thoughts, not those of ADM or ADM Investor Services, and have a safe and profitable trading day.